Hello and welcome to today's math lesson. So first of all, guys, can we all turn to wave and say a big hello to our friends on camera? Hello. And we'll begin by doing our meditation sequence. So I will sit down, take 2 fingers, find our heart center, left hand on our laps and close our eyes. When you're ready, guys, you can open your eyes and come back to the room. Next, we'll do our stretch sequence. So let's stand up and push in our chairs. And we can begin by stretching up high to the sky. And then stretch down low to touch our toes. Now back up high one more time. And this time, can we go tippy toe high? And while we're there, let's have a wave side to side. And then back down to touch our toes once more. And then stand up straight, hands on hips. And we'll have a wiggle side to side. Stop. And then another wiggle side to side. Stop. Backwards, forwards, backwards, forwards, backwards, forwards, and stop. And now we can go round and round. Round and round. Give our spines a nice stretch. And then let's go back the other way. Round and round the other way. And then, guys, let's shake it out. Arms and legs, shake it out. Shake it out together. Arms and legs. Excellent. And to finish, we'll do 5 claps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Excellent, guys. Have a seat. So who can tell me what we've been learning about in the last couple of math lessons? The new topic we're learning about? Fractions. Yes. Okay. So what we'll do first is we'll write the word fractions on the board and describe what it means. So fractions, guys, is F-R-A-C-T-I-O-N-S. Fractions. And the definition of fraction is a part of a whole. Yes. So altogether, fractions are part of a whole. Okay, now I'll demonstrate what I mean now by a part of a whole. If I draw a circle on the board now, how many parts to the circle? One. The circle represents the whole, okay? A whole thing, one. But if I divide the circle into 4 parts, how many different parts are there now? 4, okay? So the fraction is, if I colour one part of the circle in blue, how many parts of the whole now? 1/4. Remember, don't fall into the trap of just counting the different colours. The whole, how many parts? 4. And how many parts in blue? 1. 1/4, or 1/4. And this is what we mean by fractions. And what we're going to do now as a recap exercise of the proper fractions that we learned in the last lesson is I'm going to invite some students forward. I will write the fraction on the board and our students need to demonstrate it on the circle. But first of all, let's recall what we mean by proper fractions. P-R-O-P-E-R, and then fractions. R-A-C-T-I-O-N-S. A proper fraction is when the number on top is always less than the number on the bottom. This one, if you can remember, is the numerator. And this one at the bottom, denominator. Yes, and a proper fraction exists when the numerator, the number on top, in this case 1, is less than the denominator, the number on the bottom. So we can see here 1 is less than 4, which means we have a proper fraction. So well done, guys, and well listened. So now it's time for my students to demonstrate their understanding. But first of all, I need to clean the board. So first of all, let me think of a fraction we can use. We'll have 2/3. Now let's see what student can come forward and demonstrate. And the pen is now with down. So down, please come forward and join me at the front of class. So because it's the first one, let's do it together. The first thing we need is a whole. So down, can you draw the circle? Okay, the circle is our whole. That's okay, it's almost a circle. But the first thing we need to do is how many different parts will a circle have? 3. So down, can you do 3 different parts? 1, 2, 3. Okay, that's fine. Now what we're looking for is how many parts do we need to colour in blue? 2. So down, can we have 2 parts in blue? Excellent. So now, how many parts of our circle are in blue? 2. But how many different parts are there in total? 3. And this is what we mean by 2/3. Or we can say 2/3. And this is an example of a proper fraction. And down, that's a lovely circle you've drawn too. So high five and a big round of applause for down, please, guys. So let's do a couple more examples so our students can understand fully. Okay, so the next fraction we're going to look for is we'll have 5 parts in total and we'll have 3 parts in blue. So let's see who can demonstrate how to draw this fraction. And the pen is now with Pak Bung. So Pak Bung, come and join me at the front. Bang pon. Bang pon. First thing we need to do is to draw our circle on the board. So we can have one big circle, that's the whole. Okay, now what we need to do is we need to look at our fraction. So how many different parts do we need? 5. So can we have 5 different parts? Bang pon. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, we can use that one. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now how many parts do we need coloured in blue? 3. So now, bang pon, we need 3 parts in blue. Excellent. So you can see how many parts of our fraction is in blue? 3. But how many parts to our whole circle? 5. So our fraction is 3 over 5, or 3/5. And once again, it's a proper fraction because the numerator on top is less than the denominator on the bottom. Bang pon, that was excellent. High five and a big round of applause for bang pon. Let's do one more together before we move on. But let's clean the board first. And this time, let's go for higher numbers. So our denominator is 8. And our numerator this time, 7. So let's see who can demonstrate this proper fraction for us. And now the pen is with Pat. So Pat, come and join me at the front of class, please. Okay, so one more time, guys. What's our proper fraction? 7 over 8 or 7/8. So Pat, we can do this together. First thing we need is our big circle as the whole. Okay, now how many total parts to our circle? 8. So let's draw a line down the middle and then a line across and then another line here and then one more going across here. Okay, well done, Pat. So now let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. How many parts? Okay, so we've got our denominator correct, 8 parts. How many parts do we need in blue? 7. So Pat, can you do 7 parts of our circle in blue? 1, 2. 3. 4. And then do these ones quickly, Pat. 5. Excellent. 6. And then one more. 7. Perfect. Okay, guys. So now, how many parts of our circle are in blue? 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we've got our fraction correct. We've got a numerator of 7 parts in blue over a denominator of 8 parts in total. So one more time, guys. 7 over 8 or 7/8. And that's how we do proper fractions, Pat. Excellent. High five and a big round of applause for Pat, please, guys. And what we're going to do in today's lesson is we're going to move on. We're going to stay with fractions, but we're not going to be looking at proper fractions today. We're going to be looking at improper fractions. Yes, and what this means is when the denominator at the bottom is less than the numerator at top. So for example, we would have to delete the 7 and replace it with a 9. And now the top number is more than the bottom number. And this is what we mean by improper fractions. So now we've got a PowerPoint presentation for our students to observe, listen to, and practice speaking and answering the questions so that they can learn more about improper fractions. So let's turn to look at the TV screen, please, guys. So let's take a look at our PowerPoint presentation about improper fractions. Yes, and the key to understanding improper fractions is that the number at the top, the numerator, is larger than the number at the bottom, the denominator. For example here, guys, what number can you see? Over, yes. You can see here how many parts are coloured. 1, 2, 3. But the actual shape only has how many parts? 2. So there's more coloured parts than there are parts to our shape. And that's what we mean by improper fractions. A fraction is a number that represents part of a whole. Now, what fraction can we see here, guys? 4 over 6, yes. This is what we've learned already. This is a proper fraction because the top number is less than the bottom number. 4 over 6. And the 4 is represented by the yellow segments. But the total number of parts, yellow and white, is 6. The numbers represent the different fractions of the circle. So can you tell me what fractions are in each circle? First of all, top left. 1 over 2 is correct, or 1/2. How about this one? 1 over 3, or 1/3. Because you can see, this time the circle is cut into 3 equal parts. The number at the bottom, the denominator, always represents the number of parts. How about this circle? 1 over 4. We have 4 different parts, and each segment represents 1 part. So who can tell me what fraction is represented in our final circle here? 1 over 8, yes. The total number of parts is 8. And each different part represents 1 fraction. So this is what we mean by proper fractions. The number at the top of the fraction is known as the numerator. Yes, top number, numerator. Or bottom number. The number at the bottom of the fraction is known as the denominator. Yes, and the bottom number always represents the number of parts to the whole. The coloured parts of each shape here represent 1/3 or 1 over 3. Because you can see in each shape, guys, the circle, the triangle, or the rectangle, there are 3 different parts. So that's represented by the denominator. But the coloured shape in each part is only 1. And that's represented by the numerator. But then here, how many different parts to each of the shapes? 4. And how many coloured parts to each of the shapes? 1. So here, it's not 1 over 3, it's
1 over 4.
1 over 4. You see, the numerator has stayed the same because each part represents 1. But the denominator has changed to 4 because now there are 4 different parts to each of the shapes. An improper fraction has a larger numerator than the denominator? Yes. How many coloured parts here? 3. Well, how many parts to our shape? 2. So there's more coloured parts than can fit in the shape. 3 over 2. And that's what we mean by improper fraction. Now, quiz time. What improper fraction is represented here? Now, first of all, for improper fractions, count the number of coloured parts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Well, how many parts to the whole? 5. 6 over 5, correct. You see, there's more coloured parts than there are parts to the whole. 6 over 5, or 6/5. And this is what we mean by improper, when there's more numerators than denominators. Now, what improper fraction is represented here? Now look closely.
7 over 6.
Perfect. Well done. You see, count the number of coloured parts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And how many parts to our circle? 6. So our improper fraction, 7/6, or 7 over 6. Let's do one more together. What improper fraction is represented here?
5 over 3.
Perfect. Well done, guys. You're recognizing very well what to do with improper fractions. First of all, count the number of colored parts. 5. Well, how many parts to the whole? 3. So, the improper fraction here, 5 over 3, or 5/3. Any questions? That was excellent, guys. Very well done. Welcome back to class. We hope your students enjoyed the PowerPoint presentation about improper fractions and how they differ from proper fractions. They're the complete opposite. Proper fractions have a higher number at the bottom than they do at the top. But with the improper fractions, the higher number is at the top than the number at the bottom. The numerator is larger than the denominator. And coming up, we've got a flash exercise for our students to practice constructing their own proper fractions. But first of all, guys, time for our stretch sequence. So let's stand up and push in our chairs. And for this sequence, I think we'll have a game of Teacher Says. So listen carefully. Touch your knees. Touch your shoulders. Teacher says, hands on head. Touch your knees. Teacher says, stand up straight. Teacher says, stand on one leg. Teacher says, arms in the air. Teacher says, hands on head. Teacher says, one hand on stomach. Now pat stomach and rub head. Teacher never said. Teacher says, stand up straight. Arms down. Teacher says, turn around. Teacher says, arms down. And teacher says, turn back the other way. And back the other way. Teacher says, running on the spot. Stop. Teacher says, stop. And teacher says, into a little ball. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, jump. Teacher says, jump. Excellent, guys. And teacher says, please sit down. And teacher says, we've now got a flashcards exercise for our students to practice doing improper fractions. So teachers, what you need to do before the lesson is print off the flash sheets and cut the fractions into individual strips of paper. Fold them and place them into a bowl or tray. And then what we're going to do is invite our students to come forward, choose a piece of paper with a fraction on it, an improper fraction today, and then demonstrate how to draw it on the board. So let's begin. First of all, I need my papers. And first of all, I would like to invite student Net to come and join us at the front of class. So Net, can you pick any paper that you want? Excellent, well done Net. And can you open it and show it to your friends?
3/5.
Not 3/5.
5/3.
Remember guys, well done. That's a good way to remember. You see today, improper fractions, the number at top is larger than the number at the bottom. 5/3. So let's see, first of all, we need to write that fraction here. 5/3. And now I'm going to ask Net to demonstrate how to draw this improper fraction. So Net, take it away. So first of all, guys, how many parts to our circle? 3. Okay, so let's divide our circle into 3 parts, Net. Okay, excellent. So how many parts to our circle?
3.
Well, how many do we need?
5.
5. So what does that mean we need? 1 more circle. Okay, and we draw this circle into 3 parts too. So can we have another circle, the same as the first one, Net? And then another part. Excellent. Okay, now how many parts do we need coloured? 5. We'll see. So let's colour 1. And then 2. And then 3. Okay, so we've got 3 parts coloured, but we need 5. So how many parts do we need to colour here? We need another 2 parts coloured. Excellent. So now we have our improper fraction. How many parts coloured, guys? 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, how many parts to the whole? 3. 1, 2, 3. And this is what we mean by an improper fraction. The numerator is larger than the denominator. So altogether, 5/3, or 5/3. Can we say, guys? 5/3, or 5/3. And Net, that was excellent. High five and a big round of applause for Net, please, guys. So teachers, you can see the activity that we're doing in our classroom now. You can pause the video and do the same activity with your own class for around the next 10 to 12 minutes. And remember, choose a different student each time, or have your entire class practice answering the fractions together. And we're going to do some more now. But first of all, I need to clean the board. Okay, so the next student I would like to invite forward is Pak Bung. Pak Bung can choose any improper fraction that she likes. Okay. So can you show it to your friends? What improper fraction? 7/4. You see, the top number is larger than the bottom number. So we have an improper fraction, 7/4. Okay, so Pak Bung, I will take that from you and I will give you the pen. Can you now demonstrate the improper fraction 7/4? So how many parts to the circle? 4. Okay, so this time, let's colour in the circle first. We can colour in every part. How many parts are coloured? 4. But how many do we need? So do we need another circle? One more circle, yes. And we divide this circle into 4. And one more. Okay, so now how many coloured segments have we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this again is an improper fraction. 7 over 4. Or we can say 7 quarters. Yes, and that's what we mean by improper fraction. Pak Bung, that was excellent. High five and a big round of applause for Pak Bung, please, guys. Okay, so let's do it again, but let's clean the board first. And now I would like to invite Nadia. Come and join me at the front of class, please, Nadia. Nadia, can you choose? Excellent. Okay, and show it to your friends, please. 8 over 5. Okay, so this time we need the top number, numerator 8, denominator 5. Nadia, can you show how to write this improper fraction? So first of all, the first circle, how many parts to it, guys? 5. Okay, so we've got 5 parts to our circle. So let's colour them all in blue first. So let's have 5 parts in blue, Nadia. Okay, so how many parts do we need in blue? 8. Okay, so let's have 8 parts in blue. Excellent. So how many coloured parts do we have now, guys? 8. Well, how many parts to our circle in total? Only 5. And this is what we mean by 8 over 5, or 8/5. So Nadia, that was well done. Big round of applause for Nadia, please, guys. Okay, time for one more student. But first of all, I'll clean the board. And this time, I would like to invite student Chu to join us at the front of class. Chu, it's your turn to pick your improper fraction and show it to your friends. Okay, so what does Chu's improper fraction look like, guys?
3 over 2.
3 over 2. Okay, so first of all, I will write the improper fraction 3 over 2, and then I will give Chu his marker pen, and he can demonstrate how to do the improper fraction 3 over 2. So first of all, Chu, our first circle. Very good. And how many parts to the circle? 2. So we can draw a line down the front. Now let's colour both sides in blue. Excellent. So that's 1, and then the next side, 2. Okay. Well, how many parts do we need? 3. So that means we need one more circle. Excellent, Chu. And then once again, we can draw a line down to divide the parts. So this time we need one more side in blue. Excellent. So now, how many different parts do we have in blue, guys? 1, 2, 3. Well, how many parts to our circle? 2. And this is what we mean by 3 over 2, or 3/2. And that's what we call an improper fraction. Chu, that was excellent. High five and a big round of applause for Chu, please, guys. And a big round of applause for everybody doing a great job. And now it's time for our worksheet part of the lesson. So teachers, make sure every student in your class gets their own worksheet. And today, we're asking them to design their own improper fractions based on the information they are given. So today, guys, notice how there are two different circles because you'll need both for the improper fraction. The top number is larger than the lower number. But what's the first thing we need to do on our worksheets? Names on top. And it's a good idea for our students to use their colouring pencils, and they can use a different colour with each question to make their worksheet look prettier and easier to understand. And give them around 12 minutes for this activity and just monitor the class, help them with anything they need. So let go, this one's for you. Bank one for you.
Thank you.
Down, this one's for you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And you, for you.
Thank you.
Nadia, this one's yours. Pat, for you. You're welcome. Pakbong, for you. And Net, for you. You're welcome. So guys, names on top first, and then anything you need, just let me know. But remember, today we're looking at improper fractions. Your numerator, the number on top, is larger than your denominator, number at the bottom. So you'll need both circles to demonstrate. The first one, 3/2. If you're stuck, guys, your first question is demonstrated on the board now. 3/2. So two circles with 3/2 coloured. Net? Perfect. You see, we've got 3/2 in blue. 3/2. Excellent, Lakgao. If you want, before you do your colouring, like Lakgao, you can work out your fractions and then go back and colour each one. So, bang on what we'll need one circle in blue and then another one like this. Yes, similar to the one you see. The first question is the one on the board, 3/2. So 3/2 in colour. Excellent, Pakbong. Pat, very good. Well done, Stu. That's 3/2. Next one, 8/5. So you'll need more parts to your circles. Remember, the bottom number, denominator, is how many parts each circle should have. 2. So if your bottom number is 5, your circle needs 5 parts. That's excellent. Welcome back to class. We hope your students enjoyed the worksheet activity where they had to display the knowledge they've learned about improper fractions by completing the circles with the correct number of pieces. My students here all did an excellent job, so very well done, guys. And that's all we've got time for today, so we hope you've enjoyed the lesson and found it interesting and now understand what improper fractions are. They are when the top number, the numerator, is larger or equal to the bottom number, the denominator. So we'll see you again in the next lesson. And can we turn to wave and say goodbye, guys? Goodbye. Bye-bye. See you again next time.